Ed Callan, and in this video, I'm going to show you how anyone can quickly and easily create doodle videos, just like
Testing. Good morning. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Walk the Web. This is Dr. Aaron Dishno, and today I'm going to bring you some really cool stuff. I'm starting a series. We're getting ready to do some really cool 3D shopping experiences, and so I thought it'd be a cool series to do, starting with Blender and creating a 3D store, and then putting it all the way into Walk the Web and making it a full functioning 3D store with multiplayer, the whole bit. So we're going to start the series and with Blender 2.8 and then jump in from there. So see what else we come up with. But welcome, and here we go. So let me start off by showing you. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. First of all, this is Walk the Web, and I'm in admin mode, so you'll have to pardon the admin menu here. But okay, so when I walk around, I can walk around in the different scenes, and as I walk up on things, notice there's store products in there. I have this attached to a WooCommerce website under WordPress, and I have a Walk the Web plugin that lets it provide the products to this store using a streaming, using an API from WooCommerce. So what I do is I create the store, put in the different product displays in here, and then we populate it using whatever you have in the WooCommerce store. And you can do things like click on, you know, a menu option here, and it'll automatically load up in the product displays, you know, depending on which one we pick and how many products there are. But I think I need to make those a little bit bigger so you can see the product names a little better. But you get the idea. So now we have different items, and they show up in the product displays. Every time you click on one, see, it repopulates the product displays. So it grabs the categories from WooCommerce and automatically assigns the pictures and stuff depending on which one you click. So we have this option for different stores. We have it automatically populating all the different products. Then when you get the product, you can click on read more, and notice what it does. It opens your original website. So what this is this 3D store is actually a shell of your 3D or of your online store. So it's a new way to show off the products, a new way to advertise them, new way to get them out there in a gaming environment. And yet, when you interact with it, you are using your original shopping cart. So we're not tracking any shopping of your products. We're not basically, we're not getting involved in the purchasing part of the product. So, you know, you click on read me, you're actually on your original website looking at what you have here. Notice there's no items in the cart or anything, and if I close that off, if I say add to cart, all I'm doing is opening up your website and pre-populating the cart with the item you added. So you can actually proceed to checkout and buy the product right then and there. So we're interfacing with a 3D store, but not becoming the 3D store. So no products are purchased using Walk the Web. We're actually just helping direct people to your original online store. Okay, so that's how it works on the inside. Notice we have things like doors open automatically and they close when you walk outside. Things unload as you walk away so that we can actually have other stores and some real high detail and stuff. There's a little error that's popping up in the column. That's on the WordPress side, and it's something we'll be getting to when I start modifying the WordPress plugin that we have for Walk the Web. So I'm not worried about that at the moment, but notice we have all these different products, and the same thing happens over here. It highlights the different item that you're on, and you can even change what products you're viewing. Each store in a scene can be from a different server. So that they can be on different sites, different servers, and you can also take one store and put it in many different scenes. So it makes it real easy to get your products out there and get your stores out there. See, notice that building across the street loaded as I walk closer. Also, we've got some other things. I'm going to jump in the water across the canal, just faster than going up the bridge and across. even though I'm running up the bridge anyway here. So, okay, so, and then notice as we walk away, things are unloading, so that we make room for more things to load. So as I walk this direction, or I'm running, I'm holding down shift while I move forward, just so that he runs. And now we have a different building over here. And there we go, we have a different type of Western store. Cool, and let it open up the door, and in here we have new products, new store. So it just, right now I'm using WordPress WooCommerce default set for showing you what the stores have. Notice they have different colors on the sides, they can be different sizes, so there's a lot of adjustments we can do with the things. So now this series is going to take you through creating a custom building using Blender, and then making it a 3D store connected to WooCommerce. All using WalkTheWeb. And by the way, this is multi-user, so if another user walks into this scene, it will automatically show them in the scene walking around and you can interact with them. Okay, so the other part I do want to tell you is that if you don't want to create your own building, you still have the opportunity. You can go into Media Library, WalkTheWeb Downloads, and you can choose your own building of ones that others have shared. In my case, like that building that we saw, this building that I showed you, and this building are already available. So you can actually click on that, and now you have that 3D store up and running in a matter of seconds. Okay, so we have some other little fun things that I've thrown in here, some boat docks and some lifeguard stations. We also have all kinds of things you can add to your scenes. So you can add tables, and there's that little shopping cart, or the vendor cart. We have the picnic bench, or the park benches and trash cans. We have some glass display cases. We have some half-height ones that you can set the product displays right on top. Waste baskets and tables. So as we build up this library of different things, you're going to have all kinds, and you can search for things that aren't shown. So if you are looking for, I'm just going to type the word display for the display cases. Since we saw that there was one in there, notice that there are actually many of different sizes and shapes, and L-shaped and small and large and half height and full height. So this is a way to be able to check out and get different products and different things, look for different things by keyword. Okay, now also communities. There's starting from scratch. I put in a road just so you know where the community is on a blank screen and a bunch of land, right? Canal City, this is the scene that we started with here where we walked into the scene. And also I'll be sharing one that's a larger version of this that's extended with these other areas if you plan on making a larger scene. You can always extend off an existing scene anyway, so there'll be some more options in here shortly. I'm currently working on building up that library. But you can add them, and so what you have is your 3D communities, which are your scenes. You have 3D buildings, which are the buildings that you put in your scenes that load as you walk up on them and unload as you walk away. And then you have 3D things that you can put in the 3D buildings or in the communities scenes. So that helps you decorate your scene by just kind of picking and choosing and mix matching whatever you want to put in your scenes. Okay, so this is where we have it. This is what we're doing, WalkTheWeb. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start up and create it from scratch. So this is Blender 2.8, and we got the default cube on the screen. I don't care if we start with that or not. I'm going to show you something that I normally do just to get the real feel of how big something is in the scene. So what I want to do is I want to plan for this building to be in a certain place in my scene. So to do that, what I want to do first is kind of get the general sense of how big I want to make it and make sure it kind of matches the buildings around it. To do that, I'm going to edit the original box. If you don't have a box, all you have to do is click Mesh and, well, actually I'm already editing, sorry. Before you edit, all you have to do is say Add, Mesh, and Cube. That'll throw a cube on the screen. I'm going to edit this, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom of it, and I'm going to put it right on 0 because I build upward from there. So if I highlight the bottom by clicking on the, oh, I don't have my Swift keys on. Let me double check and see, where do I have those? I should have had them here. You know what? I don't think I have. My apologies. I do not have the I have it loaded, I thought. I know, I should check my properties. Let me see if I've got it loaded. Preferences. Add-ons. No, I don't have it loaded. My apologies. I'll have it loaded for next time I do something. I'm not going to spend all the time loading it right now, but we're going to keep on going from here anyway. So I'll just have to talk you through some of this stuff as I'm doing it. By clicking on this, I'm grabbing the mesh or the faces. Grab the bottom face, and when you click N, you get this menu up here. And I'm going to set Z equals 0 because I want it to be flat to the ground. I'm going to take the top, and it's at 1 meter right now. I'm going to leave that alone for the minute, and then I'm going to take this box, go to points, and click A for all. Scale, Shift Z gives me just 2 dimensions, and I can make this bigger. Where I'm going to go with this is actually, I know it's not really giving me the dimensions right this second, so I'm going to go, let's see, how about, let's just go 50. Okay, now this should be 100 by 100. In fact, you can tell this is a positive 50, this is a negative 50, so this should be 100 by 100 across and back. And the first thing I'm going to do is I want to save this, and then I'm going to export as Babylon. Later on in a different tutorial, I'll show you how you can set up Babylon Exporter, but it's a simple download. If you just go into Google and type Blender Babylon Exporter, it'll add a few features into your screen, but it allows you to quickly and easily make export as Babylon. The one thing that it does is any object that you're working with, you have the options to set collisions, receive shadows, send shadows, make it pickable. There's a bunch of other options when it comes to textures and things too. But there's a whole breakdown of that. We'll do that in a different tutorial. Okay, so now I've exported this, and the only thing I've really done is create a square. What I want to show you is that in here, what we do is we take the building. So I'm not selecting a building. I'm going to say add new building. And what it's going to show me is this. Notice I can add a new building, which is nothing but a foundation. That's what I want to choose. And when I click it, it creates everything I need for that building. And then all I have to say is open new building in the editor. Once it opens, it's going to load my avatar and stuff. There it goes. And now I have this new scene. It has this default thing in place. I'm going to Options and Settings, Building Information, and the first thing I'm going to do is rename my building. So I'm going to call it Storefront with big display windows. With a big display window. I like being a little descriptive. It's a little long, but and for this alt tag, for now, I'm just putting simplified versions. It's a 3D store, so I'm just putting that in there for now. That'll come into play later on, but for now, it's a pretty good place to start. Okay, so Options and Settings, we've named this building, and notice it picks up this on the bottom, because we're going to create this, and then I'm going to share it at the end, so you're going to be able to get all the code you need to be able to create your own buildings. Okay, so I'm going to right-click this, and the first thing I want to do is I want to delete the floor. I don't need their foundation because everything I build is going to be done through Blender, and then I'm going to put it into this scene. So then I'm done with that part of the editing. The next thing is add 3D web object and Babylon file. If I clicked select 3D object right at the top, the first thing I have is the option to upload the primary Babylon file. From here, I go Blender. I just got to look for my directory that I put that in, which is the building directory. Okay, and I called it Storefront Features, just the name of the Babylon file. So I take the Babylon file and click open. What it does is it creates the folder and basically location where this Babylon file is going to exist on the server. So then all I have to do is say edit, and right here, hey Exiled, how you doing? Been a while? Yeah, I know, been a while for me to stream. I'm not calling you out on that. No, it's been a while. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to upload the other files, and in this case the only ones I have right now is I can select them all and click open, and now it'll put the rest of the files in place. When I click close, it goes back to that first screen, and now all I need to do is click select and it put it here. The other part is I'm going to set that at 0, 0, 0, so it's in the middle of the location there, and also rotating 0 on the axis. What that does is it gives me the position of where I want that and what I'm going to be doing with it. So now notice if I walk up to it, first of all, I did not turn collisions on yet, so I'm walking through it at this point. I'll turn that on to strategic time. Just working away, glad to see me back. Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it, Exiled. Yeah, I've been working like you wouldn't believe on the back end, and I actually created a whole new repository for all these different objects that we have and that you want to share and download. It tells you how many times things are downloaded. It tells you how many times things are, we're going to do some ratings so people can rate different items that others upload and they share. And eventually we're going to lead to where you can purchase items, so that if you build things in Blender and you want to throw them in here as items, then people are going to be able to purchase your item and put it into their scenes. Cool stuff. Building up the library and helping developers make money. That's my goal. Okay, so yeah, so we have these different items in here that you can add to your stuff. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is we have the foundation, and notice the size of it. Now, looking at it here, I would just look at it and go, hey, looks good, it fits and everything. But what I want to do is I'm going to open this community where I've done this already. This is a little trick, because I can open this community that I plan to put this building in, and what I'll do is, let me finish loading, my avatar is loading. There he is. When he puts down his arms, then all the animations are loaded too. And okay, now I'm going to, by the way, if I click on the screen, I keep my active thing over here, and I'm going to run up the stairs. I'm going to go to this other part of the city here, and where I plan to do is I plan to put this building out over here next to the street. So to start, I want to take this over here. We've got the first building right there, and I'm going to run on past it. I'm going to come over here to about where I want it to be, if you're anywhere close. If you're facing where you want it to go. Oh, by the way, you can also separate from your avatar, and it will base it off of the position of the camera when you add something new. Otherwise, you can be right with your avatar, and it'll be ground zero, basically, with right in front of your avatar. It calculates in front of your avatar for deciding where it wants to put something. So now, if I edit this community, I can say I want to add a building, and I'll come in here, and what did I just call that? Storefront with a big display window. And I click Add 3D Building, and here it is. That's the foundation that we just created in Blender. So those are the steps for actually adding something into your scene. Now, what I can do is I kind of want to make the buildings match the distance back. So I'm going to first move this back a little bit so that front of the store is basically the front of the store in both of those for the most part. And I also want to double check on the back. How close are we? We're about the same, so if we had an alley behind this place, it would be just fine. If we build out a little bit, we're still good. But I want this as a reference point to know that, hey, I'm building a building that really nicely goes in next to the one I have, which, by the way, was 100 by 100 units on size. Okay, and notice this one has a porch out front. We're going to do some things that project this one forward, but I just want to make sure we're at the right height and right the general sense of the idea. Now the next thing is I'm going to move it over because I don't want it right on top of the other building. I kind of like there to be a little bit of space where you can walk in between the buildings. So I guess I kind of like round numbers just for my own sake. If I balance out something on the other side, gives it like set places, or if I replace it with something else. Just lots of work, long weeks, trying to find breaks where I can to enjoy some life. I know what you mean, especially with this COVID stuff going on. Yeah. Okay, so I've placed it where I want it to be. All I have to do is say save 3D building. Now the other part is, because I was starting way over on the other side of town, what I can do is I know this is where I'm going to be working for the next foreseeable time. So if I say options and settings, set starting position, I can use current position. And now every time I reload this scene right here, basically I'm starting in this position. Don't worry about the direction of the camera at the start. That's something I'm going to be taking care of shortly. But notice when I start, oh, he fell through to the ground. That was my fault. Sorry about that. Some of these places are better than others for starting points. I didn't even move. Sometimes you don't move and everything else, it should stay right where it's at, but hey, there it goes. Now I'll get it. That's a flaw that I've been working on. I guess it still happens. Okay, and once it loads the avatar. Okay, there we are, and we're facing our building. So I don't have to start over there and run over here every time I do something. Okay, so that's the foundation for our building. That's exactly where it's going to sit. And now, as I make changes and everything else, all I have to do is basically upload it to the site and refresh the scene. That's the only thing I have to do. Okay, so now what are we going to do with this building? I'm thinking I kind of want a door here, and a big nice display thing in the center, so that when you walk in, it ends up with like a U-turn path inside the store to actually walk in and approach and get whatever you want and stuff. So I want to kind of make it a full-on U-turn type store where you have both sides like this. You come in one door and go out the other kind of thing. So it's a pass-through kind of feel to it. Oh, sound's working here though.
No, I'm trying to take my training videos.
Oh, okay. Make sure it's not on mute for that. Yeah. Okay, so the next part we're going to do is I'm going to start by stretching this higher. We're going to edit this cube by just doing the old tab to get this going, and I want to leave these points for the foundation. We're going to have kind of a, well, let's first decide. Do we want this to be above the ground with a couple steps leading up into the building? Or should we make it where it's right on the ground? I think at least one step is always good. Doesn't hurt. So I'm going to take this original one and I'm going to move it to... let's move it to 3. The reason for that is that'll give us a couple steps going in, and it'll kind of make the display like right there in your face. Everything good about that. Yeah, kind of makes it good. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to now take this, and I need to make it about the right height. So we're looking at starting with about should we go about 12 or 15 foot ceiling. That'd probably be about right. I like the tall building. I like the tall insides and stuff. It kind of looks more grand than it is. So I'm going to do EZ for extend in the Z direction there. And I'm going to bring this up. Let's see. Let's go to, if I want this to be about 14, be about 26. I want it to look like a 2-story building. I want this to feel tall on the inside. So 20 be 40. Let's go Let's go 40. What I do is I move it. I actually move it to about the height I want, just kind of get an idea of ballpark. And then what I'm looking at is over in this top left corner over here, it shows me the actual numbers. So I get a ballpark where it is, and then I type in the number so that it becomes exact. So now we have 48 because I started 3 high and I went 45 above that. So that's where we have the basic thing there. So now the next part I want to do is I'm going to divide this in 3 by giving it 2 loop cuts. And also, we're going to take and next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say mesh, snap. I'm going to make sure my cursor's, oops, not selected. I didn't want that. Mesh, snap to world origin. Make sure that I'm in 0, point. And I'm going to take these 2 lines and I'm going to scale in the X direction. And I'm going to bring them out this way so that we have enough room for a door on each side, but a pretty good proportional display for what's that. So I'm going to say 1.5. Like I said, I move it, I watch the number up in the top left corner, and then I pick a number that is very relative to what I'm doing there. So, okay, now I've given it an idea of where I want the door to be. It's going to be on this side and this side. I don't see building 2 doors. I can build 1 door and then I can use the mirror tools to actually create it on the other side. So I'm not going to go for too much stuff on that side at the moment, but I am going to do another loop cut over here. And I'm going to take this one and GX, and I'm going to move that over to about 6, and then I'm going to take this, oops, come on, GX, and I'm going to move that over to about -6. Okay, that gives us a little bit of a borderline area. You know what, I'll do that on this side too. Loop cut with the R, do a 2, hit enter. GX, that'll be -6, and Alt left click, GX, and make that 6, enter. Okay, so we got a couple guidelines there. I'm going to do a loop cut this direction. And this one needs to kind of tell us how high our door is going to be. So let's figure this out. This one should be at good 14. Let's see. 14 be 28, 29, 30, 31. It should be right at 31. So I'm going to take that and make it 31. That'll be the top of our door. And then it'll be within this area. Now the next part is I'm going to make this about the right width for the door. So we'll go another 2, enter, and pick this one, GX, and I'm going to move that over to about let's see, how big do I need this to go? Let's go 2.5. Let's take this one. X minus 2.5. Okay. Now what I'm checking on is I'm checking on the X values. If this is 31, then this one is 43. That makes it 12. That's about a 6-foot wide door. Let's clean that up a little bit. Let's make this one at a true 43, and we're going to make this one at a true, let's go 32. Okay, so that gives us kind of a 32 to 43. Okay, that's going to give us about a 5.5-foot door and about this height. For now, what I'm going to do is I want to know, I just want to know real quick how that's going to sit out. I like to test some things and see what it feels like when I'm actually in the scene. The door won't be this high. It'll have a little border on it and have a little window above it and windows on the side. We're going to do some things to make that show up. Cool deal. Okay, so taking this, for now, I'll back this out afterwards, but I'm going to extrude this. Okay, let me see. Let me try that again. So select this item, extrude in the Y direction, and I'm just going to back that out about that far. This isn't where it's going to actually be, so I'm not too worried about that. I just want to see what that actually feels like at this time, height-wise, looking in the scene and stuff like that. So I'm going to take this, save. At any time when you want to check things out and kind of get the feel, because I like to kind of box it out and decide how big I should make it and kind of get a feel for what it's going to look like when it's done size-wise. So I can export this to Babylon, and all I have to do is export Babylon scene. Okay, it dropped it out there. Now I go back to WalkTheWeb, Media Library. See, I don't even have to go back to edit the building I was working on. Just the 3D objects. Here's my storefront. Edit, upload files. Select the files. I like putting my Blender files in there too because I plan on giving them out to you as you download things. So I purposely include the Blender file so you can get it and you can make your own changes and modifications to existing stores that I create. I'm just creating an environment where you can thrive and work on it. Okay, so now that I've uploaded it there, there's nothing else I need to do in that section. To see it here though, one thing you will have to do is clear your images and files out of your browsing data. Otherwise, it's likely that it didn't refresh. Then all I have to do is refresh the scene right here. And as soon as it comes in with my avatar, there's a 90-degree shift when see, it dropped me right through the scene when it came in. That's something I thought I fixed, but we'll get it set. We'll get it set. I know what I can do to fix that, so we'll make sure it doesn't happen to you. See, it's dropping right through the ground. Okay, fine, I'm not liking that. I can tell you why it's doing it. When it creates a scene, if the ground isn't in place fully and your avatar gets created and he's above it, what ends up happening is you drop to the ground. So, oh, by the way, notice also the building is not facing us because we just extruded a section out of it and it is not facing us. So the first thing I want to do is find out what side of the building has the extrusion out of it. It's not this side. So I think I'm working completely backwards. Yes. And that's another reason why I check things out. What I'm going to do is we're going to swap the building around the other way. And notice the size of the door is actually very, very tall. It doesn't need to be that tall. Let's see. I could lower that a ways and still come up with a pretty good sized door. I can also go... width is okay. That's a perfectly fine door. Okay, that's what I'm going to go for, but notice how it's on the back side of the building. We're going to fix that right now. And what I'm going to do is, notice I can do it one of two ways. I can leave it this way and set the front of the building in WalkTheWeb the other direction, or I can just edit this, all points. We're on that axis right there, switch it here, and I can just say rotate Z 180. And there we are. Now it's facing the street, which is one of the things we check all the time as we're doing stuff anyway. The other part I learned is that I don't like how tall the building's getting, so I'm going to look at it from the Y direction and highlight that, take the points, make sure I'm not highlighting anything, and select that level right there, which includes the indentation, and I'm going to bring that down to instead of 31, which is pretty high. Notice that's 28 above the 3 step that's going into the building. I'm going to bring that down to well, see, that's going to be the height of the centerpiece. You know what? I'm going to leave it, but the door's not going to go that high. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to leave that right where it's at. Leave it at 31. Okay, as you can see, this is what I've built so far. And the next thing is I want it to have an actual floor in here, but it needs to be, we're going to be creating the inside afterwards, so don't even worry about what the inside of the building is going to look like. We'll create the floor and everything else, but I don't want to work with the inside of the building at the same time that I work on the outside of the building. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this area back here. I'm going to click delete the vertices. Now it's just face wise, it goes inside the blocks, but that's where the door is going to be. And like I said, I'm not going to worry about too much on this side because I'm going to do it and then I'm going to mirror image and drop it over here afterwards. So I don't see a reason to go to a lot of trouble on that part at the moment. But what I want to do now is let's start working with let's start creating this front display window that's going to be coming out from over here. Let's see, what's a good way to do this? I'm going to start by adding a cylinder. Okay, mesh. And I'm going to do this still in the same thing so that it's all the same object, by the way. So all I'm doing is adding a mesh to the exact, add another, I'm going to add a cylinder. Yeah, it's really tiny right now. We're going to make that a lot bigger. Depth is, that's going to be 31. I want it to match the height of that section. Radius is going to be 20. See how that comes out. It's going to be bigger than that. And I'm not too worried about being too far off yet. I'm going to say 25. And okay, so this is our starting point for that. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to grab all the points around the bottom and we're going to set that to 0. And then all the points around the top with, by the way, I'm doing Alt left mouse click, and this is going to be set to 31. So now it's the same height as that front edge. I'm going to go to the Z so I can see where I'm working from. I have no idea which. Okay, there's my door. Okay, so Z mode puts the door right over here. So this is the front of the building. Once I do this, then I won't have to worry about it. Control L will grab all of the linked points to the one that you're working with. And I'm going to go G and then Y, GY, and I'm going to move that up here so that it becomes somewhere really close to there. And now this is where I could be exact, but you know, there's an easy enough way to get it close enough for what we're doing. And that is, see how I've got that point there and I've got the point here. I'm going to GY, move this thing up until that point is really close onto that. And I'll even zoom in farther just to get it even closer. Once it's close enough, then when I do merge points that are close to each other, then I'll end up getting it. Oh, that's interesting. There's a dual point thing there. Don't know why I've got 2 points on a close spot like that. Not good. Okay, I'll fix that in a minute. I'm going to make sure that isn't an issue. It's called building a crooked building if you're not careful. So going right to there. And now when I do this in this mode, let me back up. And we have this dome-shaped or rounded front end. Now let's flip the building over. There you go. And it's on the front of the building. Don't worry about the shape or size at the moment. Going outward, we're going to fix that in a second. First thing I want to do is I want to know why this point here is at -25. This one is at negative 25, and this one, okay, they're all at negative 25. Why is there a duplicate when I look downward from the top? There's a second dot here, which is part of this thing, so I'm good on that. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, I was seeing the... Yeah, I'm not sure what I was seeing. Okay, fun. We'll figure it out. We'll merge those points when we get it closer and stuff, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, I'm going to select the bottom of this, and I'm going to take snap the cursor to the selected, which brings it to the middle of this point. Then I'm going to do Control L so that I only grab this thing. And what I'm going to do is, from the Z point of view, Z point of view, I'm going to make it not stick out so far. So let's do scale in the Y direction only, and I'm going to make it something like that, so that it's more of a little outward and then comes out like that. 0.3, 5, that'll work. Okay, so now we have this thing that is kind of outward. It's a little bit rounded. It's not overwhelmingly forward. That'll help. And then okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop off half of this so it's only on the outside of the building and it's not on the inside of the building. I don't know, I'm making this up as I go if you couldn't tell. I have an idea in my mind and I never know what it's going to look like until I start building. But basically I'm creating something new. So, got to be creative, got to build something to expand off of it and come up with what you're going to do. So in this case, that is now the rounded front end of this piece. And I can also, there's a couple things I'm going to do. Round cut on this, I'm going to do 3 of them. And then I'll take this bottom one and I'm going to move that to 3 high, which is matching our ground here. Then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go maybe, let's see, 7, which gives it kind of a base for where we're going to set things in the display in there. And then this one is going to be the top rounding edge. We'll have some fun with this, by the way. It's gonna be pretty cool by the time I'm done. I just had a thought of a way to do something. I know, when you're doing something custom, you kind of come up with different ideas. You know what? I think I'm thinking about the window panes. And right now, they would be pretty small. I think I did too many pieces on this. Let me back up. I'll get us back to here very quickly. But trust me, this will be worth doing. I'll do it fast, I promise. Add cylinder, and I want it to be, let's go 16. And the reason I wanted to do it is because I've got 2 things I want to do here. One of them is, oh, by the way, I did put my cursor right on the dot, so we're building it in the right place now. I want it to be 16, but I'm actually going to do something here that is kind of cool. I want window panes to go down each one of these lines, and I'm going to kind of do it a very quick and easy way to make it work. So I'm going to take that box, and we're going to say mesh. Let me think about this. Add another cylinder, which notice it's the same dimensions and everything. And what I'm going to do with that one is I'm going to rotate this one, rotate the z-axis, and I'm going to move it ever so slightly off-centered, which in this case is going to be, let's go 2 degrees. Let's go 2 degrees. Now I'm going to select both of these. There's a method to my madness, by the way. I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to there we go. And now I'm going to rotate Z -1. Okay, now it's centered and it's actually facing the right direction. And now these each trust me, the points are along the same axis as this is going to be interesting if I can pull this off. I'm going to join those two, see if they'll join. I don't know if that does it or not. We're going to find out. If they're joined, then this is going to get really cool. Nope, see, I got two separate ones still. I got the right points. Truth is, I've got 2 faces on every single one of them. Hey, how's it going? Anybody got an idea of how I would do that? I have these 2 faces. I know what to do. Give me a let me try this. If I take those points and move them to 0, and if I take this one and this one and this one and move those to 31, which is the top of that section. Hey, how's it going? Hello. How's everyone doing? Kicking out some code here, doing some things. Yeah, building a 3D store with a nice cool display case on the front end of it. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 items here, and because I did this in a certain way, if I grab all those items, I can actually mesh. Oops, I missed it by 1. Mesh and separate selection. I'm going to treat those as one here for a second. Go to here, selects all of those, clip that out. I don't know how to merge. Hungry and ready to get off of work. Yeah, there's 2 good reasons right there. So, Owen, what are you up to today? We're just kicking it, making a 3D store. I'm kind of playing around with this. I haven't quite done it like this before, but I think, well, you know what? I know what to do. What I'll do is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it the shape that I want it to be and put in some more lines here. So let's quickly do the pieces that I had before. Go 3 with that. Select this one. No, actually, I just thought of why not to do that yet. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the faces, and I'm going to get rid of a bunch of them here that aren't going to be used anyway. So delete face only, delete face only. Let's get rid of the bottom piece because that's duplicates also. Okay, and what's happening is that because I combine these 2, I got the points in all the right places, but they truly don't overlap because if you look close enough, these aren't the same item. They're actually in 2 different places. So to keep the perimeters where I want them to be and everything else, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete the faces. Delete only faces. Shift. Delete faces only. Okay, now I've gotten rid of the faces. What I actually want to do is use this as a design to get the Yeah. NVM, huh? Okay. JavaScript with HTML and CMS. Oh, CSS. Yeah, awesome. You know something? We got a great Discord. If you click the link below, you can actually join the Discord. Great group of guys in there. If you want to start doing something in 3D, we'll teach you how to do it. We're writing this whole Walk the Web is in JavaScript. It uses Babylon as a gaming engine behind it. It does a PHP backend, and we're doing tutorials. We're doing all kinds of cool stuff with it. So definitely, feel free to join us. We got all kinds of cool stuff we're doing, and you can learn coding. You can, there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. Oh, that's funny that it's selecting that whole thing instead of the one side. Okay. Okay, it's not letting me do the loop cut select around the top here. Maybe if I do it this way. Okay, so do this. Nope, see? It's collecting. It's going all the way around both directions. That is interesting. It treats it as a full object and it grabs every single part of it. Okay, that is not what I want to do. Well, actually, I guess that is a quick way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to say the lines here, and I'm going to say delete. This is one way to do it. Edges and faces, delete. Edges and faces, show me the points, and we have it here. So now take that, and let's start somewhere. And this is probably not the easiest way to do it, but this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take, and I'm rebuilding using these points because they are exactly where I want them to be for my framed display case window. So I'm purposely grabbing them this way to be one unit. Nice. There's a method to my madness. Oh, web apps, and mobile, cool. I bought the Robin Nixon book. I'll have to look that up. Okay, what's the best way to understand how to utilize HTML and CSS from JavaScript? Okay, well, that's an interesting question. Think of it this way. HTML, you try to make your HTML as clean as possible by using CSS, obviously, by putting everything into classes and not doing inline styles. With that said, the JavaScript allows you to change it after the fact once it's already in the scene. So you get a lot between the balancing of all the bootstrap stuff you can do for different sizes of devices, and then all the stuff you can do after the fact using JavaScript. It's when you want things to happen more than what you want to happen of when you would use one or the other. So yeah, I hope you understand that idea concept. Okay, I'm only going halfway around. Nice music. Hey, by the way, I got that from you. It's basically, here, I got it. It's Chill Step 24/7. Yeah, that's where we're going. Chill Step 24/7. Okay, I don't need that right now. We're going back into here. I like the 24/7 because it doesn't end. Otherwise, I was doing a 2-hour. Next thing you know, I'm doing a 3-hour log, stream or something. And next thing you know, it ends up missing some of it or something. But I end up having it run off and stop or something, and I don't notice. Get locked up when using. Oh, this is better. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Let's go this half here. I'm basically just creating a perimeter here for the display windows, but I purposely did it this way so that I can do the panes of glass. So I needed to kind of resize how big I was making the panes of glass, and also the pane in between it, but also the dimensions here of the glass itself. So by doing it this way, I came up with a nice clean outlet of getting them on here. Go one more. Okay, from the Z direction, I missed it. Z direction, I'm going to take these points here, and these go inside the building, so I don't need them. Cool deal. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. See you then. Oh, you killed it. Okay. Don't know what happened there. Okay, well, I've got the logs. Okay, so back over here. Select these items. Get rid of these points. Delete vertices. And now we have the front of the building like I want to see it. And then we have the building. So we can bring these two together now. I'm not going to join them into one just yet, but I will well, actually, I can join them back into one thing just so we're working with the same piece. And Control J to join them. Now we're working with the one item at a time, and we have it back inside here. Okay, the next thing is we already know that we're not going to want a wall right behind this, so I'm going to delete. Not yet. I got some reasons for not doing that yet. Moat, thanks to... Oh, cool. Thanks for the moat. Very cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go ahead and make some of these cuts that we were talking about a little while ago, and I'm going to do some loop cuts. We're going to do, let's do 3 of them. Enter, and this bottom one I'm selecting, and that's going to be at 3, just so it matches our ground level here. Take this one, we're going to take that up to 7, which will give us a couple feet above that. And then this one is going to be the top of the box, so this is going to be up here. Let's say 31, let's go 28. Okay, so that's going to be the display case size. Now what I'll do is in this section right here, I'm going to highlight these. What's the best way to do that? Let's go this way, and whoa, missed that by a mile. There we go. And I have these highlighted, and I'm going to, let's hit E and then enter, and now I want to scale it let me go Z just so we get a clean shot of. Let's go Z again. Now. Okay, and I want to scale it to stay in the Z levels so that it doesn't do anything other than itself. And I'm going to bring that in just the distance of the pane of glass. So that'll be 0.98. I don't know how big that's going to turn out in real life there, but how about 0.99? I think this is going to be, I think it's going to be thicker than I want. And then I'm going to extrude it again, and I'm going to go scale Z, 0.99 again, and stop it there. Now what I've done is I've moved that inward just a touch, and basically, see how it's got this edge here? Well, let's do this. There was a method to my madness of doing that. So now if I take this, I'm gonna extrude, enter, scale 1.1, no, and cancel that. Let me think of how I'm doing this here. Okay, so if I go back to Z, I'm sitting in that section and I want to do extrude and then scale 1.01. Now I'm going to unhighlight certain ones. I think I need to change the view here to solid just so I can see what I'm working with. I don't want to select backed objects and stuff like that. So if I undo this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, if I undo those, and then scale 1.0, oh wait, scale shift Z, 1.01, I messed up that last scaling. Okay, sorry, back up a few seconds here. Okay, so scale shift Z 1.01, scale shift Z 1.01. Oh. Helps if I unselect the windows first. Okay. And thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate that. That's very cool. That's very, very cool that you did that. Welcome to the group. It's Udio. Cool. Cool name. Okay. I missed one here. Yep, let's not scale that one and not scale that one. Okay, and then we have scale shift Z 1.01, and did that not? Nope. Sorry. E, and then scale shift Z 1.01. What did it do? There we go. That's what I was looking to do the whole time. Okay, so now I gave it a little bit of a piece going outward there. I kept my points on the inside for a reason, so that I can do the inside when I get to that point. I'll create the insides of these parts. Just so you know also, this is working on the we'll just call it building. And then the inside will be inside. We'll label them as we go. Okay, and now the next thing I want to do is let's add a couple more loop cuts here. And I think 2. That looks like a good sized. That really looks like a good size for doing the pieces here. So let's set them there. Mesh, snap, cursor to selected, and then I'm going to scale Z, and I want to just kind of bring them a little bit apart from each other. Okay, and now when I take over here, I'm going to do loop cut 2, enter, hit enter, scale Z. Oops, sorry. I hit Shift Z. Scale Z. And now I can move them up here to where they're about the right thickness. 2.45 maybe. I'm eyeing this, and it's going to be good now. Or 2.5 gets me where? 2.5? That's actually pretty good. 2.5 looks like a good round number. And now the final little touch here is to take each one of these. We're going to merge some points by the time I'm done, so don't worry, I'll get rid of a lot of these points that I've created while I do this. That's part of the cleanup process, so I'm not too worried about doing that at the moment. I'd rather it look the way I want it to look. So I'm going to hit E for extrude, sorry, not extrude, and then I'm going to do scale, Shift Z, 1.01. I am going to fix those keystroke things so you can see which keys I'm pressing as I go, because I do think that's a good help along the way. Okay, so now what I've created is I now have sections in here that are going to be glass, and I have the frame around it that's going to be, that's all going to be the frame. So we have the panes of glass with the little areas around it. Makes it kind of nice. And then the final part is I don't quite want it to stick out this far. So Control L, select all that. First things first. Oops. Select all. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Select all linked. Okay, I've got all linked items here, and I'm going to just say mesh cleanup. Merge by distance. We got rid of 88 points, which I assumed was going to happen. Okay, so we're good on that. And now that I have it all highlighted, oh, see where my center point is right there? I don't want that, so the first thing I'm going to do is select this point and this point down here. Not that point along this wall, and okay, so that point and that point, and then I'll say snap cursor to selected. Okay, now I'm on the base of the wall, base of where this is all at. So if I select some of this and Control L. Control L gives me all the linked points, and so now I can take this here, and I can basically, I'm going to scale Y direction and just kind of bring it back a little bit. I don't want to lose too much of my display window extrusions that I just did, but I don't want it to be perfectly round. I want it to be kind of a little flatter than round. That kind of works, so we'll do it like that. The next piece is going to be the base piece here. If I select this row, I want this to kind of stand out a little bit farther. I kind of want the one above it to stand out farther too. Let's get both these rows. I'll get it like that. And this one. And I'll do extrude, scale, Shift Z, and we're going to bring that out just a little bit so that it has a little bit of ledge. Why do things in 3D if you're not going to really show off the 3D? You kind of have to have some extra dimensions to things just to make it worth the while. And the fact that we can do it. Okay, so extrude, Shift Z, and we're going to bring that out a little farther, like a little base piece that will be somewhat... Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that works for me. Okay, so now we have the base that goes along with this front end here. We have this piece that is kind of like the foundation underneath it, and then we have our display window. We'll end up doing some type of rooftop type piece on that, which is kind of like what we're going to do next. So I'm going to start with I'm going to start by selecting not that, but this line here. And here's where I'm going to extrude, and it's going to be scale, Shift Z, and I'm going to bring that out to about there. 1.15. This your new shop? Well, this is going to be another 3D store. I've been building a number of different stores. If you look around here, we've got the one. We have this one over here. That basically full now 3D shop, you know, that I created with the porch and everything else. So this one's going to be a new one next to it up on the street level here. We can move it around and stuff later on, but I'm just going to build it up first and then see what we come up with. But it's going to fill out some of this profile, this space in here, and build up a new thing. So just want to give more options for people that want to choose a 3D store. Nice. I'll have to check out some new stuff. Yeah, you got all kinds of stuff here that you haven't checked out. This is part of the other scene. Notice this. You can actually come up here. Notice where that's at. So you can come over here, and we have everything from a little pond to a tunnel that takes you to the other side of the street. You know, so you can actually go that way. Then I have like over here. So you can actually do different pieces over here. I've extended the bridge. Okay, and then over here I created a beach area that we can build up. And say I even have a little, I fixed the tower over here. I added it, and then I also made it where you can, I made it a little bit bigger so that you can actually walk up it now. So, oops, I ran into the sand there, kind of tripping me up. But you can walk right up here now. And I even made the door open so you can go inside. So we got the little lifeguard booth that you can walk in. Cool stuff, huh? A food truck. Now that's cool. Next to the beach scene. I'd like to see that. That would be really cool. Hey, Bookus, how's it going? Hey, I know. I have to stream to get you guys out, right? It helps if I stream, right? But yeah, definitely. So we're doing pretty good here. Character design friend, not yet, but he will be. He also, let's see, so you got to change your password. Okay, there's some things about that, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so yeah, so as you can see, I extended the ground out, so we have a lot more city we can build from. We have the tunnel underneath the street. We've got a lot of stuff where we can build new parts of town. Yeah, boys are back in town. Welcome back, welcome back. So... Okay, so yeah, so we got this going here. And we can even come up on the road. I'm going to add the pier to this, by the way. I was thinking that would be a really cool thing to do, is have the pier extend out at this point so you can see it from the beach and from the city. But okay, so for right now, though, we're coming over here. I'll get back to that. Let's get back to here. Okay, so I created this front end on this building, and we'll continue working on that part. File, save. Oops. File, save. Now, I'm still not going to set the collisions yet, but I do want to kind of see what this looks like size-wise, and, you know, for this big display window here and everything. So what I'll do is come over here, Media Library, 3D Objects, and edit that, and which is the item that I'm working on currently. I just exported it, so all I have to do is grab it again and upload it into here. Now it's uploaded, and I just have to clear the browser cache, which is just my images and files. And now it'll reload the new one when I reload. Oh, that's looking pretty big. That's nice. I gotta make the corners of the building match the style though, because that's gonna be a pretty good display window. That's pretty good, but I like the way the light hits it and stuff. Okay, that's gonna be pretty impressive. So I kind of need to make the doors come out a little ways too. They can't be too far back there, otherwise they look second to it. Well, maybe I can. I'll have to play around with the concept of that. But yeah, so that's going to have the pieces looking up there. Then you walk inside. Like I said, I didn't turn collisions on, so I can basically see where that's at. That's one heck of a big, impressive window. You like it? Cool deal. Yeah. So that's, you know, that's kind of what the front of the building is going to have as a nice, really big display. I need to make the doors. I'll put some columns in this one. I think this one needs columns off to the sides of the doors to match the front entrance to make it all fill part of it. Maybe the awning can tie it all in together too. That would work. That would work. Yeah, hey, 5 viewers, whoop whoop. Yeah, welcome everybody. We're building with Blender and dropping it into WalkTheWeb. So I'm building a new building and I'm playing around with it as we go, kind of designing the face of the building right now. So coming up with some ideas of how I wanted to do it. We're going to put in some really cool display windows there. And then this part up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this, I'm going to take this and extrude it up, and then I'm going to bring it back into one point up against the wall. I think that's what I want to do. So extrude, Z direction, bring it up here a ways. I don't want to go all the way to the top. Let's see, that's let's go 44 even, just so it's easy to find. And now if I scale Shift Z to 0. Aha! Did it. Nice, 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 nice. So we get this nice little cool rounded part. You know what? I made one mistake. Let me back that up. Back that up. Okay, so root Z direction. I need it to have a little bit of a lip down here before we go up. So we're going to make it... Otherwise, it doesn't look right on the tips. So I'm going to make it where it's about there. And then bring it up to... We'll go to 44 like I did before. And scale Shift Z, make it 0. And it all brings it down to a point. Now we have the entrance of that going. And I'm going to... extend this box, this one, and this one. Actually, I'm going to get these 3 also. Little trick. I'm going to whatever you call the word again. I keep saying erude. I mean to say extrude. Extrude these items in the X direction, extrude X direction, and I'm pulling them down, and I want them to be to the corner, but I don't know exactly where that corner is. I think it's at 47. Looks like it's at 48 or something like that. But what I'll do is I'm going to pass it up on purpose just so that I can do this. If I grab a point here, it tells me it is at 50. Forgot about that. And now all I have to do is grab these points and I'm going to set them all to negative 50. I could do it even with the edge, or I can make it stand out just a little beyond it. Oh, my mistake. There's an easier way to... I did that wrong. If I set it to that, it's doing the average of all the points, so it keeps them in position. But if I change this, set the cursor there. It's a little trick I learned. Snap and cursor to selected. Now that I have a cursor, I can bring these points at the end. And when I scale X, so you scale X direction and you say 0, it all lines up perfectly with that edge. Now if I decide I can make it stick out past the edge, or I can just leave it right to the edge. It kind of, especially for the slab on the bottom, I think that's not such a bad idea. The awning can stay where it's at. I think the idea would be to do this. So if I take these points off, take this, and just basically GX, actually I don't even have to do that, I got it right here, 50, 51, now go 52, got to make it worthwhile, otherwise why bother making it step out a little farther. And from there I can take this extrude Y and bring that back. Am I going to extrude that whole side out? Yes, I am. Okay, so we're going to take this box right here, extrude X 2. Oops. -2. There we go. Now it matches the side there. Should match. Yeah, it does. Okay, I'm giving it a foundation, so let me take this piece, extrude X 2 there. You know what, I'll just build both sides at the same time. I was thinking the door, I'll copy and paste the door to one side or the other so I don't have to build it twice, but at the same time it's sometimes good to actually take well, the frame of the door and everything else, I need to match that. So I'm going to take this over here, Control R, do 2 loop cuts. I'm just catching it up to what we did before. This one here is at X equals 43. So take that one and say X equals 43. Whoops, wrong one. Helps if I grab the right one. I don't want them to cross over each other. Okay, 43, and this one right here is at 32. So shift and or alt, get that one and go to 32. Okay, and for just for the sake of it, I took this box and delete face. Now it matches the other side, and let's do the same thing with this stuff that we were doing. Just take this, this, and this. Oh, let me put the cursor on the outside of this building. Snap cursor to selected. Now go back to that. Select this one, and this one. This one, and this one. And now extrude X direction and bring them out here. I'm not too worried about where I land them because all I have to do is go scale X is 0, and I brought that there. And then I unselected these and take these points to 52. And now we're lined up on here and brought it out to the outer point. That gives us a pretty cool looking entrance. Now to be kind of correct on this thing, this is gonna, okay, need to be able to see the wireframe so I can get the right pieces here. But what I want to do is I'm going to take this one, make sure I'm not selecting more than one. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And the same thing on this side, which is the top two, and the top two there. Now this is going to be kind of cool. Do I need it to be, no, this is going to be fine. Okay, I'm going to go back to the other view so that you can see what it's doing. And I'm going to go GZ for upward, and I'm going to make them fan out to give it a little dynamics. I think about that height. Pretty cool. Okay, just to, how high did I make that? Let's go 5. Okay, that gives us a little bit of design. That gives us a little bit of, now we're starting to look like it. Then by putting a little bit of a column in the corner here, kind of helps it out a little bit. I think that helps bring the face of the building a little fuller. Oops, I don't mean to hit. I miss it by 1 and I get save as, right? So save that, file, export. I'll make some stairs to go up inside, and then I'll go ahead and we'll make it where it shows collisions and stuff. But we're getting close to just some design things here. I may still, got some possibilities. I'm just thinking. Well, more character the better, right? Okay, so save. Oh, exported Blender into Babylon. And now we have the latest and greatest. Come over here. And we'll clear the browsing data and upload the latest into the media library. That's why I made the media library, so that you could easily work with putting things back and forth into here, updating one thing from one place without having to go into each object. If I make one change to one, it works for all. It's kind of a good cross-section of all the different pieces. So it's kind of cool to work this way. Okay, what does everybody think so far? How am I doing? Let's see how this place looks. Okay, we should have pretty cool looking building starting here. Okay. The top, I don't know if I gotta check the faces of the different items because I have a feeling the faces are wrong. Come on, there's my avatar. Okay, and I'm gonna turn off the disconnect from the avatar so I can come up here. Okay, so those, okay, what's happened is, see how I'm not seeing the face? Faces aren't facing the right direction, so I can see the inside of this, but I don't see the panels that are on the top of this. So all I have to do is, we can fix that. Go into here, go faces, and under this little tab, we can turn them on and we can make them even a little bit bigger. And notice everything that doesn't have a face showing. Those are the ones I'm talking about. Okay, so we have, the bottom of that didn't. We're going to have to go into all kinds of ones here. We need this one and this stuff here. It's all facing the wrong direction. Oh, can I grab all those at once first? Yes, I can. Okay, that helps. And then go this and that. We'll fix some of these back points in a minute, by the way, so we won't worry about that just yet. We're going to clean up points afterwards, so there'll be some stuff with that at the end. But this all faces the wrong direction. I know I could use the, if I go to C, then I can clip them here. This one, this one, this one. There's one up in that edge. Make sure I get that one too. And then we have here, here. Did I get all the outer ones? Yes, I did. That one was actually, out of all of them, there's one facing the right direction right there on top. And does the tip have it? Oops. That's what I love about undo. It undoes your selection process too. Click somewhere wrong and everything gets let go. You can just click one button and bring it all back. Okay, that looks like it grabbed everything I needed to there. I got the end piece, the end cap. Those all look good. Those look good. I think everything is looking all right now. And if I take all of these and just go mesh, normals, flip, and now notice they're all on the outside of the building, which will finally give it the look we want. It's actually kind of cool. And then we'll work on some columns here and stuff. This part up here will give it some character and style. Yeah, we'll see what we can do with all this. We needed to have some more character to it. Then we'll work on the roof line, how we want the roof line to be. I think I have an idea for the roof line, because I'd like to really open up the place on the inside. Maybe a couple skylights would really keep the inside lit up, and it would also, yeah, we'll have to think about skylights on this building. Yeah, that would be cool. We could also give it a couple side windows. The thing is, okay, side windows, it's a give or take thing because it takes up space that you could have product displays on walls, but it also, in our scene, notice, even if you can see through the side, you're going to be looking right out their window. But notice, that building has one on the side too, so it's not a bad thing. It's not per se bad. I mean, we could definitely have a window where you can look over and see what's going on in that building. It wouldn't hurt. Also, if somebody's walking down the alley, they could look in and say, hey, I see something. It's another form of viewing for shopping that you might cut across something and see what you like. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to have some side windows on this. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do here is I kind of want to make, I was kind of thinking about this piece, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, and this one, both sides. Or could I leave that one alone? Extrude Y and bring it back about -4. Oops. -4. Okay. What that does for me is, first of all, I'm going to fix the border lining pieces that go with that. The easiest way here is to grab the edges here, and wait a minute, did I? Yeah. And here, and delete edges and faces. Don't worry about my sidewalls at the moment. I knew it was going to do that, but it's worth the cleanup. Delete edges and faces. I still have the points there, so it's not going to hurt anything. Technically, all I'm going to do is I can put the sidewalls back just by doing this right here. Face. And if you don't look on a little bit of an angle, sometimes you get confused or I get confused. I won't say you, it's all me. And pick those 4 points, put a face on it. Okay, I'll clean up points afterwards, so I'm not really worried about that at this time. So that gives us a little bit more of a patio. I did that on purpose because when we put a column out here, I don't want it to extend past this up here, so that's as far out as I really want to go on that. But at the same time, a column out here, I don't want it to get too close to the building. So that kind of gives me that little bit of an edge that I like, and that will work. The next thing I'm going to do, just for the heck of it, is I'm going to take this one, and this one. And I just like giving it some character. That one I don't want to move because of what's there, and we're going to do some fancy thing with the top. But these side ones, it would be, well, I'm not going to go as far back as that. Let's just go extrude Y -2. That did it. Okay, and it only has the rooftop ones sitting in here, so I'm going to leave those for the moment, even though that's not the final plan for those, because as you can see, it's a doubled up edge anyway, so that's not how that's going to sit in the end. I'll think about how I want to do that in a minute. Next thing is some windows on the side, and then we'll work on throwing some columns in there. We want to do columns that have some character to them, just like this does. I want to make sure that they have a little bit of feel for that whole pattern I did. I'll save every once in a while. Okay, on this side, what we're going to do is we need some really cool windows that kind of show off a little bit of the store, off-centered towards the front, but we definitely want a couple of them. So let's say I go 2, well, that's going to give me exactly in the center, and then if I go off-centered by -0.35. Then I should be able to repeat that. 2 and hit that and -0.35. And now we have a couple of alignments just so we get an idea of where these windows are going to be. Loop cut. Oh, it goes all the way around. That's a good sign. Let's take that and move it to what height? From the outside, if you're walking by, if it's too high, this window, this whole place is pretty high. So if it's too high, you're not going to be looking inside so much, especially with a large foundation the way it has. So I kind of want to make it, let's go 8. And we need another loop cut below that, which is going to help build the, that one will be at 6.5. That's perfect. And now another loop cut up here, which will be the top part of the window. I don't mind them being kind of tall. That makes a cool display. And let me see, how about, I'm thinking, let's go 27, and then of course we need another one, that'll be 25.5. I'm building a frame around it so that when I sink in the window, this part can actually stand out. So if you're seeing what I'm doing there, then that's exactly it. So loop cut 2. I like boxing out where I'm going to be putting the window first, and then let me think of how I want to do that. Okay, let me do 2 of those over here too. Loop cut 2. Keep them highlighted. Highlight these. Okay, mesh, snap cursor. Mesh, snap cursor to selected. Gets it right in between all 4 of those, which is perfect. And then I can go scale Y direction only and bring it out to about 2.75. That works. Okay, and it put them both where I needed it. Now, this one is going to be, I still want to go with the pane idea, so I do want to have a couple pane. So this one, 2, enter, and then over here, this one, 2, enter. Okay, select those again. And that's these lines. And I'm going to keep up close here, and I'm going to scale those the Y direction, and I'm going to pull them out to about there. That works. Okay, and that'll take care of 2 vertical ones. I guess I could do my loop cuts and get the other ones while I'm at it. Okay, that would be, okay, we're going to do it this way too. We're going to grab 2 loop cuts here, and we're going to scale Z, and I'm going to shrink those in right around here. I don't want them to double over themselves, so make sure that they stay on their original sides. .095, I'm guessing 0.095 would be good. And that gives us, okay, that gives us 1 across the center and 2 downward on the center of the window. Now, easy enough. If I take this, I can go, first of all, I'm going to take these items. Oh, that's interesting. These loop cuts are not part of this wall. Huh. That's very interesting. Not sure how that happened. That's very interesting. Must be 2 pieces here then. Wireframe view, see if there's something I'm not noticing here. Oh, there's no. Well, that's interesting. It didn't do a loop cut because it didn't have a face there. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll fix it. Take all those and, oh, there's an easier way. Take all of these lines, just this direction, and edge, subdivide. Oh, I should have done one more. Undo that. Highlight one more, make it go top to bottom all the way across. Edge, subdivide. Okay, and I'll do one at a time. I'll switch back to points. I can take these points and last. I'm not sure why I didn't have that. Oh, there's no actual point there. Jeez. I thought there was going to be a point there. That's just making it, well, there's there's a way to do it anyway, but I don't know why that point doesn't intercept that line. What is this line doing here? Oh, because when I made those loop cuts, or those cuts, it didn't grab this line. Not sure why, but we're gonna undo it. I'm gonna delete edges and faces. Notice it didn't even change the side because those edges weren't part of these faces. So now, loop cut there and move it to minus 0.7. Looks good. I just randomly picked that number, by the way. And this is going to be 0.7. At least they're consistent once I get that far. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Because I know if it messed up on one side, it messed up. Yeah. My points didn't cut across those two lines, which I don't understand why, but the easiest way is delete edges and faces. Now, loop cut 0.7. Loop cut and negative 0.7. Okay, now we've got what I'm expecting to have over here. And my first thing I'm going to do is take each one of these faces that take me around here. I'm going to make a window pane around it. And I'm going to extrude X direction. Let's bring that out. -2, -1. I don't need to go out as far as the other pieces. And also this bottom piece, which I'll clean up the extra points afterwards, by the way. I do it at the end. Extrude X, -1, give a little bit of a windowsill. Okay, now I'm going to take this. Oh, let me do the other side first before I forget what I'm doing here. I like making them symmetric, so if I do them both, I know I could have done a mirror and everything I do to one side automatically happens to the other, but since I'm experimenting and chopping up so much stuff and moving around, it's just easier to follow the two sides at the moment. Okay, so extrude X, and it'll be 1, then just the bottom ones. Extrude X, 1 more. That's fine. That's what I did over here. Okay, I'm going to take these over here, and I'm going to extrude them and then I'm going to take the top points. I'm going to highlight one of the points here, by the way, and mesh, snap, cursor to selected, and now by selecting these points out here, scale X, 0, and now we have a little awning, just enough of a little edge awning on the side. Okay, so did I say 5 outward? I think I did 5 outward. X5 points. Select one of these points on the wall. Mesh, snap, cursor to selected. Select my points out here. And scale X, 0, brings it right back to the wall. And now we have that in place. That looks pretty cool to me. And finally, we'll take this. All these right here, and we're going to extrude X, 0.25. Yeah, that works. Okay, extrude X minus 0.25. And now we have a window pane on this one from the outside of the building. Don't worry about the inside just yet. We'll create the insides afterwards. You know, it'd be kind of cool is probably put a door in the back. Worker's door. Okay, well, we'll get to that. I haven't decided if that's what I'm going to do or not, but what I will do is I'm going to take this and this, this and this, and, oh, wrong way, that way. Okay, edge, subdivide 2, oops, 2. Now switch back to this, and we're going to take those two and extrude Y 3. By the way, a 3x1 step seems to be the perfect things. So extrude Y 3, and now we have the steps going up, and I think we're taking some pretty good shape here. We'll worry about this roof line here in a minute. So I'm going to do some cool stuff for that. And it'll reflect on the inside of the building when we do it. Okay, let's do some columns real quick. Columns. I'm going to take that piece right there. Mesh, snap, cursor to selected. I'm going to start there just because it gives me a good starting point of where I'm going to be at. Actually, I could do better than that. If I do that one and this one, they should be directly, let me see. Okay, one goes farther over than the others, I think. Oh yeah, the bottom one isn't lined up with the top one. Never mind. Yeah, let me turn off the faces for now. Okay. Okay, so I've got that spot right there, and I'm going to say add cylinder. The radius is going to be 0.5. Oh, 1. Okay, we'll see about that. Let's go 2. That's actually looking better. Okay. 31. No, it's going to be 28 high. It's going to be offset by Z. You know, it's at 3 already. And it's going to be offset by 17. Perfect. Now it's right at the bottom, right at the top, and Next thing I'm going to do is, it's got enough, 16 gives a little bit of rigid. I want it to actually show the different things. I don't want it to look like a perfect round piece. So I'm actually going to show those off more. The question is, should I make it less? No, I think I like 16. It's got a certain thing about the number. Factors of 2. Power of 2. There you go. Power of 2 compels you. No. Okay, so we're going to do a base, squeeze in, top. Oh, let me get a bunch of these in here. Okay, starting with mesh, snap, cursor is selected, puts it right in the middle. That way, when I'm moving these things around now, these loop cuts, I only have to do them in one place and it'll catch both of them. See, I can take this one and this one. Oops, helps if I hit the right one. And that one, and I can scale Z and bring those right down near the end, and take another one, this one, and this one, scale Z, take them down to about there. Doesn't matter what dimensions I actually pick as long as I have some uniformity to where I do them. Take this one and this one. Oops. That one. Scale Z, and these will be, let's see. I'm trying to think of, that one's going to move it. That one's going to there, and then finally this one and this one. Scale Z, bring them out here, and that's actually going to be like really close to the last one. Okay, here's my plan. I'm going to take this. Oh no, let's see. I'm going to take this section, no, this section, and this section, and I'm going to scale them outward. To about there. Then I'm going to take this section and this section and scale it outward to about there. There we go. That should give us a kind of a cool looking column. Enough of a column, but a little bit of design to it in the bottom and top. It's an okay. Now all we have to do is Control L and GX and put it right near this edge. Oh, I forgot the top doesn't go as far as the outside. Okay, we're going to fix that, and we're going to make this. Or do we want to put it inside of that? Which does affect where the door is. No, the door's inside of it. Barely. I can move the door. What I don't want is it to stick out past the edge of the building. And right now it kind of is. Let's go to this view. See, it's going just past that line, which we don't want to do. So GX, this is going to move over to about right there. I'm going to move it over right to there. Which means I'm not going to like where the other side is. Two things I'm going to do. First of all, When I go to wireframe, one of the things I can do is I can select if there's a top circle. There's no reason to draw that face because it's up against something. And the same thing for the bottom circle, which I believe is right there. And delete the face on that. Don't need any more faces than you need, right? Take one, Control L for all of it. Z. Let's go back to solid so you can see it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one on the other side of the building here, which is down the global x-axis. So the first thing is snap the cursor to the world origin and mesh, duplicate, hit enter, mesh, mirror, global x, and there it puts it. Now another thing that you have to do after you do this, I can tell you already, I'll show you though. Control L highlights them all. Once you do a mirror, it not only mirrors the points to the opposite side of the thing, but it also reverses every face in the object. So once you've done that, if you'll look, if I switch on these right now, notice they all stick out. There's none of them sticking out here. They're all facing inward. So all you have to do is highlight them all, mesh, normals, flip. Now you're facing outward again, and you once again have that piece in place. Man, this place kind of looks really regal. That's kind of cool. It's going to look cool on the inside when I'm done too. We'll do some design on the back because I like having, it's got to have character on all sides of the place. Just got to have the character. Okay, we need a roof and we need the rest of that. Everything in my glass. Yes, I do. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I'm liking it for sure. Let's test. Okay, what I was going to do is this. I was going to take, since it's on world origin right now, we'll just zoom in here. Turn these off for a minute because I don't want to get distracted by where they're at. I'm going to take. Actually, can I do a loop cut on that? Wow, that was interesting. I did catch it all in the loop cut. Nice. Okay, I'll take it. And shift and loop cut this one. Should have the same thing on both sides. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can do this without messing up too much. And that is shrink. I'm going to move these in scale X and I'm going to move them in this direction. So now, first things first, I'm going to move. No, cancel that. I got to do one at a time. So let's just do this one. Loop cut for here. See, I don't have that one selected. Okay. And I'm going to GX and just move it over so it's kind of centered between the post. I don't want it to be directly in front of the, or behind the post. So we'll put it like right here. That should do it. Let's see, that is 2.5. That works for me. 2.5 is a nice round number to be able to hit twice. And so take this one, GX, and move it over this way. It's a negative 2.5. There we go. Now we have the door in a good place. I think that's going to work. Since we have steps in front of the place now, one of the things we can do, you know, there's another thing I do on these items. First of all, this whole item, I can turn on this and get the shadowing going, check the collisions. Now we'd actually be able to walk up the steps. But of course, there's no floor on the inside of the building, so we're just going to fall through once we get in there anyway. This floor is down farther lower, so once we walk in there, we're not going to be able to get back out. Well, actually, we can jump. So we can jump that high. So we should be able to get out of there. But okay, so this kind of gives us the idea. Let's export this and check it out and see where we're at. Export. Blender. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so I've exported that to Babylon, and now all I have to do, well, I don't have to use FTP. All I have to do is use the app. Media library, objects, edit, upload. Yeah, just grab that whole thing, put it back up in there, go here. Oops, didn't mean to hit that. That one, clear data. There we go, and when we refresh this, we should be good to go. Now we're taking some shape. That's going to be one heck of a floor display. When we start showing off this as being their display of what they want inside there, oh yeah, that's going to look really, really cool. Okay, as you can see, we have some pretty cool columns. We can walk up the stairs now. Yeah, kind of. I'll fix that. I'll show you what we do on stairs. But now we have a side window, and when you walk past, notice it's a perfect height to be able to look in. So we're good there. Okay, in the back of the building, we don't have anything back there yet. Now we're getting pretty good with the outside of the building. Okay, we need a skyline, and we need some more work. We got to put some doors on here. We got to do a skyline. I mean the roof. That'll be kind of cool. Okay, yeah, it's looking pretty good though. First thing I'm going to show you is, or the next thing I'm going to show you is how I deal with stairs. You're going to like this. Okay, so if I take this and I pick the leading edge of the top of the stairs, and I pick the leading edge of the top of the stairs on this side, and notice from there we're already at 3 meter, no sorry, Y value 58.1. Okay, so we're roughly 58, and we're going to go from there all the way out here. So we're going to extrude Y direction, and we're going to go 58. So we started at 58. Was it 58? Yeah, 58, and we're going to go 67. We're going to go to 67. Whoa, that's not right. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. We're going to extrude Y direction, and we're going to just click it and then make that Y value 67. Sorry, I didn't mean to extrude it 67. And then I'm going to take the Z value of those two lines and make it 0. Now what I've done is I've created two ramps. When we texture this, what we're going to do is we're going to make these completely invisible so that you don't see them, but yet you can walk right up the ramp and go right inside the building as smooth as possible. Looks like you're walking up the steps, feels the same. You just rose in elevation, the whole thing, but at the same time you did not have to, you didn't have to see it. So, and we'll take that with some textures, which we're not going to do just yet, but you get the idea. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is we want to do something with this rooftop. So to do this, what am I going to do? I think the best bet is to take this line and this line, and if we give it a subdivision, go 2, oops, go 2 there, and now with those two lines highlighted, scale X direction, and I'm going to make them really close in here like this. Somewhere around. Okay, and then I'm going to make this a, let's see, how far do I want the roof to go? Do I want the roof to match this line? No. I only want it to go in between these two. Yeah, that's going to work out. GZ, and we bring it up here like this. We can go to, how about 65? And then, you know what, I think, yeah. Okay, so we've got a roof line. We made it go upward. That gives a little room up here for a business name, which I like. We'll be able to get something on there. It's enough room that we can display it, yet at the same time it'll give us enough room to do the rest of this, which I want to take this one, well, actually, I'm going to do this. This one, extrude Z, and we're going to come up about 2. You know what? I did that wrong. Okay, right idea. Not ready to move the height of that just yet. Let's take this, and this, and extrude Z2 like that first. Yeah, give it enough part. I need to get it up higher. And then we take this section, GZ, and we bring that up to 65. We had it before. Now we got a little bit of an edge there, and the reason I want to do that is for give this a little bit more space for the square sign to sit. Just looking at it, I wanted to make sure that was plenty of room for that. Now in the back here, I think I'm not going to move that until afterwards. Okay, I want to make a couple cool skylights up there just so that we get plenty of sun on the inside. So to do that, I'm going to take this and this. That and that. And trying to get the extrusions right, and if I pull it in a certain direction, okay, we should be able to get it this way. Just thinking ahead. Okay, so I need some loop cuts. Actually, I don't want loop cuts. Well, loop cut would let me put it right where I want it. Okay, let's go loop cut just here and take it there and move it up to right near the top, but not at the top. So like -0.7. .7. Just want to make sure I can repeat it on both sides here. Loop cut. -0.7. 0.7. Okay, and now if I take trying to think of how I want this. Okay, so I'm going to take these and these. And we'll subdivide 2, and then highlight those two, and those two, and then scale Y direction. Make them pretty good size till we get plenty of light inside. Just trying to think, what else am I going to want? I think what I'll need, I know. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to do this. Okay, I think the best way to do this is this. We need to take this and extrude it this direction, like 2. Extrude 2. Now that we have that piece outward, if I take this and this, now it's just kind of a cheater way to make sure that the points are along those lines. So if I divide it by 6, then I end up with something that looks like that. Trust me, I do have a method to my madness here. And then I take this one, edge, subdivide, divided by 6. Okay. Then I can take, like this. All I really wanted was 1 here and 1 there. So I'm going to take all these other points to there. Alt-M at last. At last. And now I've gotten rid of most of those except for the one I want. And here, 2, 3, 4, 5. At last. Why am I showing that, by the way? It will be in this one. Annotations, no. 3D cursor, yeah, that's in there, of course. Relationship lines. Origins fine. Motion path, no. Where is? I thought it's in here. Am I just not paying attention to which one it is? Oh well. See, now I've gotten those 2 points here along the X, right along these this line. So it was an easy way to get it there. Then for these other ones, there's an easier way. Is just I just need this one, that one, and that one. Edge subdivide. Give me 2. Select this line, this line, this line, and this line. Scale Y, and I can pull those out to where I want them to be. It's a little trickier along the other axis. That's why I kind of did it the way I did. So this would be the framing 2.8 for it. And that's going to give me one panel of clear glass with a little box around it. And it's all going to be flat on the outside. I'm not going to bother trying to make it up. Well, I could make it bind upward a little bit, but right now that's actually pretty good the way it sits. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. What I could do, though, is oh, that's funny. That's an interesting shaped loop cut. I know it fits, it splits it down the center of whatever I'm doing, so it is kind of off-centered. Yeah, I don't want to do it that way. Okay, the next part. Well, actually, that would kind of make an interesting thing. Let me just check this. So if I take that and then take just the points along the front side here, I'll get over by lines. Just to do something different with the roof. GY, and I'm going to pull those out. It's kind of cool. And if we're pulling it out, one point, or let's go 2. Don't need it to go too far, but that'll be enough that it kind of, cool. Came up with a new design right there. Didn't even plan it. Okay, GY, and that's -2. Okay, if you're going to do something like a loop cut up here, then you gotta kind of measure where you're putting it so I can make it the same on the other side. Let's go 0.95. Yeah. Okay, then I can do another loop cut on this side. That'd be 0.95. Now those two will align. That's all I wanted to make sure is that they would line up for each other. And what I was going to do is take this. No, why didn't it? Oh, that's interesting. This one is that. This one, oh, I forgot that's that. That's that fake edge. Well, I'm going to cheat it anyway, because we're going to take that, this one, those. I'm going to add in okay, fine, I'll go wireframe. That one, that one, that one. This one. I'm making a little section of roof that just doesn't quite match the rest, and I'm going to extrude this in the Z direction, and I'm going to go up about that far, which is probably a 2. Works for me. Okay, so now we have a rooftop, kind of a little edge there. We have a little piece here. Now it's a separate piece, so that has a little bit of dynamic to it. And okay, so now that puts it together nicely. Okay, so on the back, what should we do? Can make columns outward. I think I should make this. I think I should make these sections right here. I think I'm going to make these sections right here sink inward just to give it that extra dynamic, or I could leave this piece out. I think it's this one I want. Just go ahead and sink the whole back of the building. There and there. And then what I can do is extrude Y direction -2. Whoops. +2. Okay, now we have a little bit of dynamic to it, and if we decide to add a door over here or a window over here, that would offset it. And actually, not even doors. Let's just put glass window right there and up here. Just clear glass. Watch somebody walk into it, right? Crack myself up. Okay, the building's starting to take shape on all sides. I kind of like it. This back side here needs a little bit more to it. So let's go ahead and let me get closer so I can see what I'm doing. Extrude Y. And that's about -2. There we go. Now we have a little bit of a back wall to the building, a little back ledge. That's perfectly fine. And there's the front of the building. Yay! Well, this thing's really taking shape. Got room for skylights. We have room for all kinds of cool stuff here. And then we got to do the inside of the building. So for today, let's see, what do I want to do for today? Doors are another day, only because there's some specifics about doing doors. So I don't really want to do the door just yet. We'll make that a separate video because people will need to see how to do doors all along. And so I want to have that as a separate video that, but at the same time, I think this is looking pretty good. Just to do it, what I'm going to do is we'll also have a day where we do a bunch of textures, but what I'd like to do is I'm going to add one texture right now on purpose. That will be, we'll say, call this one Windows. And so we can take everything that we wanted to make windows, because I'd like to see what that looks like. There's a trick to doing transparencies in for Babylon from within Blender, so I'm going to show that to you here. We're doing those, we're doing these, we're going to do, I think I just want these. These. Okay, and these are our skylights, so we're going to do it to those too. Okay, so we've mapped out what our windows are. We're going to set that to windows and assign it. And now here's the trick. First of all, we'd like them to be shaded darker, so let's move it down a ways. Darker windows make it look like it's a tinted glass. The real trick is this. This is where we're going to set the alpha. because if you don't set them here, it doesn't show up as a transparency in Babylon. So this should be, let's say, 0.4. 0.4. And then we do the glare on the windows. I'm going to tone it down just a touch, but we'll still make that 0.4. And then change that one over to for that. We're also going to do the alpha so that it looks like it in this scene. And the other part is blend mode. We're going to do alpha blend and shadows. I'm going to say none for now so that the shadows don't come through. We may come back and play around with that later on if we decide to do something with it. And then the other part is the transparency underneath the Babylon section. We're going to set to alpha blend. Now what this does is I'm going to do a material preview. And notice you can now see through the windows. You can see the ground when I go certain sides. So now the windows are working. Okay, let's check that out from the view. So we'll export that as Babylon. I know it keeps popping up on my other screen. I drag it over so you can see what I'm doing, but it keeps popping up on the other screen. We will clear the browsing cache of images and files. And media library, 3D objects. Edit here. Update the files. Select them all. Open. Get it refreshed. That's all it took. And now if I refresh the page, it will reload the new version. Okay, now just to let you know, what we're seeing is that there isn't an inside of the building because we didn't put inside walls yet. So what you're seeing is, see how, like, from here, see how we can see all the way across over to there in the windows? The windows are working. It's just that when I look this direction, there's nothing behind it to see. If you go just on the right angle, see the bricks down below? So it is showing you the bricks down below. So yeah, so we are seeing through some windows. In fact, if I go around to the side, oh, I forgot to do that piece. Let me out of it. I'll do that one also before we quit today. But see, notice the window does show through here. The other part is, notice that the skylight on the inside is leaving a mark inside the building. Yay. So we don't have it inside of the building because all the faces are facing outward on the building so far. So we haven't built the inside of the building. We'll get that going here shortly. But see, we do have windows on all sides and they do show through. You can see what's going on in the window. Yay. The back side of the building, I think it looks pretty cool. That's a cool little piece on the top. That'll be fun. We could do an advertisement billboard on the back if we wanted to, you know, for our store. But overall, I think that's a pretty good store so far. Okay, one more thing. Here's something else I want to show you. If you right-click your building, you can edit the position of where it's at. The other part, though, is in advanced options. You can set how far you want the building to show. Actually, I need to do this in the building editor itself, not the... I need to do it in the building editor because I don't want to switch it over to the ones for the canvas. So that's one thing I do need to change. We're going to go to buildings, select the building, and this was storefront with a big display window. Self-explanatory, huh? We'll name it by somebody's store when it actually becomes a store for somebody. But in the meantime, okay, so now if I right-click it, what happens is this. There's this thing here where you go under the advanced options, normal when near. That's for your inside of the building, things that are inside of it. There's high, which means like your window displays and the details on the outside of the building that you don't need to see unless you're real close to it. And then there's this extreme zone. When you set it to extreme zone, what happens is this. Before, when I walk away even 20 steps, it just seems like no room at all. what happens is I'm already disappearing the building. The building disappears because I'm not near it. But notice the extreme zone comes all the way back out here where you can see the building in the distance. Notice where it disappeared. If I turn the zones on, you can actually see this box. It is right here. Notice that when I look towards the ground. Oops. Okay, see the box? It goes right here. There's the edge of it. And if I go this way, you can actually tell it is a full-on box. This one's really tall, so it's all the way up to there. But there's the box. Now, my camera can go in and out of it, and it doesn't do anything. But when my avatar walks inside of it, so when I walk, as soon as I break the edge of that box, now it tells it to show that building. That's how I turn on and off what you see as you get close to it. Then I don't have to show things that you're not going to be interacting with because you're too far away to interact at the time. It's just not part of what you're doing yet. So, okay, so that's what we're working on. That's the different pieces. There's definitely some cool pieces here and different areas to work with. We'll keep building the building out. We got some cool stuff on the outside. We'll continue this one. We'll put some doors on it. We'll do the inside of the building. We'll texture the whole thing. We'll clean up all those extra points. Because remember, while I'm working on it, I'm over here making loop cut after loop cut. But there's a lot of these extra areas that don't have anything to do with what we're doing. They're not going to be part of the final product. So what I want to do is, once I decide all the contours of the building and I get everything where I want it to be, then I'm going to take and I'm going to merge points and I'm going to get rid of some of these planes that aren't being used, and we're going to clean up the extra lines that aren't part of our end goals. We're going to get rid of and make it so that it's like right now there's 1,700 faces just for this building alone right now. Well, there's a lot of faces. Like, for example, if I take this, and this, they are all on the same plane. And it's a square. I mean, it's a rectangle. So basically, I can merge all those together and get rid of all the extra points and lines that are involved in that plane right there. So I'll be doing some cleanup work like that when we get back. I'll show you how we do that. We'll clean it up, but I'm not going to do that until after we design the inside of the building, because I need to make sure that the inside of the building can do everything that we want it to. So we'll build the inside of the building out so that it has not just the wall on the outside, but we have the walls on the inside of the building, the floors, the floorboards, any kind of extra stuff we need in there. The window sills, the door frames, the doors. We'll be building out all those different pieces. So far, this is the building we've built, and we've got it here in WalkTheWeb. And notice you can also jump back to the community. And even from here, I have the zones turned on. I can turn those off. And even from here, here's the building we're working with. I just fell through the floor. I apologize. I'll fix that next. I'll go tweak something and fix that. But sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. I know exactly what it is. And no problem. I can fix it. Okay, but see, then we got it. So we're going to be able to walk around on the building here. There we go. We can walk up there. And I'm getting stuck on the steps. Oh, that was one thing. Okay, I'll show you that real quick before we leave. I want to show you that. We need to fix the steps real quick. Okay, this part here. There's a plane here and a plane here. First of all, I'm getting stuck on them, which is because they're both facing the wrong direction. Hey, Majestic, how's it going? Oh, yes, always. We're building all kinds of cool stuff. If you look at 3d.walktheweb.com, this is what we're building. We're building a whole city of 3D stores and all kinds of cool stuff. Building all kinds of stuff. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we are building a ton of things, and I'm actually going to make it where it has a marketplace where people can download items. See, I built a 3D CMS where you can actually build these scenes. Communities are the scenes, then there's buildings in the communities, and then there's 3D things you add to the buildings and the scenes. Well, the cool part is you can build a building one time and then put it into many different scenes for games and all kinds of cool stuff, and 3D shopping and game, so we're doing some cool stuff. Oh, you're teaching a Blender class for beginners. That is awesome. Doing lesson 1, part 1 tonight. Oh, awesome. Congrats on that. That is really cool. Yeah, basically, I've taught 3D programming. I've taught all kinds of programming classes. I taught algebra. I taught college algebra, and taught at La Sierra University. So yeah, I've got my doctorate in education, and I was webmaster of the county of San Bernardino in California, and so my credentials are big on programming and also my big on teaching. So welcome aboard, definitely. The other cool thing is down below you're going to see the Discord link. If you join Discord with us, if I'm not on here, you'll find us there all the time. I made these. Yeah, these are buildings I created. I created the land that we're standing on, the whole scene so far. I created every bit of this. I purposely like to get as much as I can and do it as much as I can myself. I'm not against downloading things to start with and stuff, but I really like to keep the mesh count low and also the number of faces low wherever I can. There's some extra tweaks we do for making them work in here. You know what? Let me tell you this, how it works. There's cool stuff of how this stuff works. I build it in Blender. I come over here. I've got a media library where I can upload my objects to the website and puts it on the server. And then I can use these objects that I've created into 3D things, buildings, and communities to kind of bring them all together. Now, the cool part about it, the Ant Landscapes add-on. It's built into Blender. You just have to enable it. I'll have to check that one out. I think I've seen the video for it, but I haven't played around with it yet. But I definitely want to do some cool landscapes. And I haven't done a lot of landscapes. I've done more buildings and stuff, and I've created things, and like this building here. I'm not done with the inside of this one yet, but I created this building. I created all this so far. But yeah, but the cool part is this. What I do is I design it to have different levels as it loads. For example, I'm going to come around this way. See that little building across the street? If I back up to a certain distance, it actually disappears. So I design them by default into 3 different levels. First one is when you're at the distance, it shows the outer shell of the building so that you can see it and you know to walk up on it. Then when you get closer, so I know I'm just running in the water to get here faster. When you get closer, then you get a point where it starts showing items that you would see in window displays and some of the more details around the front of the building. And then finally, when you walk up even closer, what I've done is I've actually created, like in this particular one, I've connected it to products from a WooCommerce store from WordPress. So it actually loads them onto the counters and puts them on the shelves. You can interact with them. Make fog in Blender. Yeah, not sure how to program games. Okay, well, I use a Babylon engine behind this, which basically lets me import things from Blender, bring it right into here, and load them into the scenes. It can also use OBJ files and, MTLB, and MTL, I don't know, MLB file, whatever they are. There's a couple different ones that it can do. Don't know how to do the programming side. No problem. We need a lot of help with the models because we're constantly creating things and throwing them in here. But I've designed it so that you can actually click on your categories that are imported from WooCommerce, and it'll automatically show you the answers on the board. I know if I'm running into some with the camera there. But it'll show you the answers. When you see something you want, if you click Read More, it actually shows you the WooCommerce site so that you can actually read more right off their site. The other part is if you throw something in the cart, it will actually put it in the shopping cart. So we're interfacing with the shopping cart on a particular site. They can go in, proceed to checkout. So the sales and everything else happen on the original WooCommerce website, but yet we've displayed it and brought them into the 3D scenes here and stuff, so they can browse them and walk around. And we create all kinds of cool stuff. So, but we want to integrate this with games so that you can walk down the street. All of a sudden, you come up to something and you hop on a boat and be able to drive it around and cruise around the bay and through the canals and stuff. Or we'll even have some boat races. We're gonna have some bikes and some cars driving around. We'll do some miniature golf games. We'll do paintball game or something in an area of town. We're gonna just keep on building it out so you can just walk up and play the games. The real trick to it is, even the games, when you walk up, it loads the code to play the game, but when you walk away, it unloads it so that it's kind of regenerative. You don't have to load up a game. You just, like right now, I'm outside of that building, and notice I've unloaded the resources that were in that building. Yet if I walk back over to it, it reloads them, and it starts to show me whatever it's going to show me from the outside of the building, and including our little bench that comes back up on the outside over here. So it's actually pulling that off of different websites of the internet, bringing them on and mix and matching them into the scenes. So I can take that same building, throw it into a completely different scene, and you can run around and deal with that one. We have, another store here that you can walk around inside. We have these stores over here. This is a dual store on the bottom half of it. So when I walk over there, but I keep on building and I keep on adding things to the scene. So we just keep on going. Like in this particular one, when you get closer, I have some props for their style of business of what they do here. There's every once in a while we get a little bit of lag, but some of it's because I'm streaming at the same time as running this and playing it. So, but like here, I created this custom model for them because that's the product that they sell, and they write on the little petals and put them in there for people in like the ICU where they can't have real flowers. So there's their product, and of course, I just ran through the door, but they come in here and I made some product displays and show what the packaging looks like and stuff. And so it's all a matter of just putting things together the way people want for their particular use. This one here, we're setting up it's a insurance office that somebody runs, and it's real businesses. So the cool part is the real businesses sponsor their businesses into your scenes, and you can still make the games and all the players can play them for free because it's all free. It's all internet. So this, what do I call 3D browsing and 3D internet. And so I keep on building, adding new things. And as you can see, I've been walking around here a little bit. As I walk away from stuff, it'll unload. Like I can walk backwards and you'll see the building disappears. It's freeing up resources because in this direction, I'm walking and I'm loading up different items. So it becomes very regenerative as you're walking around. To give you an idea how that works, we actually have these things called load zones. I can turn them on in admin mode. You normally wouldn't see them. But see how when I walk through these areas, there's different boxes that are transparent. And all you have to do is when your avatar walks inside of a box like this one right here, it automatically loads what it triggers. So walking into the box is like clicking a link on the internet. It goes out, gets the definition of the building that you're going to get, returns it back, and then renders it right into the scene. And then for each one of these boxes, we're loading different things or unloading things from other directions as you move around. So that's how it all works. In fact, here I'll refresh the loading zones, and you can see that there's a loading zone right in front of the building here. So as soon as I cross that path right here, now it's going to load what's inside the building. And you can see it just by walking up there. I also have different other loading zones. For example, there's one around this porch, and the second I walk up on here, it automatically opens the door for me. So, and if I walk out of it, it closes the door. So the doors are all automated. I can turn those lines back off, and you don't have to see it that way. But as you can see, it's a playground for programmers and artists like yourself who want to build 3D models. You can actually build things in the media library. We have downloads where people can do communities, which are your scenes, buildings, which obviously buildings, or it can be an area within a scene that you just want to, let's say you wanted a soccer field and you're going to play a game there. You can make a soccer field be a separate building so that you can drop it into many scenes. Then we have 3D things. So for starters, these are items that we have available. So some of the buildings I've already built. If you click on it, you can download it to your own copy. Oh, did I tell you? This stuff is open source. So yeah, yes, we have the GitHub link, and you can actually download WalkTheWeb, which is a 3D CMS designed for putting all these pieces together without programming knowledge. You can put these items together into scenes and drop them right out there. So with your background in Blender and working with your students, they could easily create scenes, create buildings, use this program to create the scenes, put the buildings, and then drop the buildings right into the scenes, and you can actually have a multiplayer environment walking around just as quick as you want. So R2Mesh and R2Pack are built-in Blender add-ons for quickly building structures. I haven't used them myself, but I think they might speed up your workflow if you get used to them. Cool. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the help we get. Yeah, that's cool. I'll check those out. Yeah, I like getting the new products. You know, I like checking out things. The other thing I do is, as you can tell, because of that layering thing, when I build a building, I do the outer shell, I do the inside, where that doesn't have to load until you're close to the building, and then I do, you know, details and stuff like this that load at different levels. So I make them different files in the end. So you'll have like 3 different files that you're going to load: outer building, inner walls, and, you know, details for when you're up close, and then finally the inside products and things. So yeah, it's pretty cool the way it all comes together. I have a number of videos that show it, and, you know, like I said, if you join us in Discord, hey, I'll friend you in there also, and if you ever have any questions, if you don't see me streaming, you can definitely find me on there, and basically you'd be able to, you know, ask questions, whatever else. If anything I can help you with, I'll definitely help you. If you want to build things, you can build up a reputation for yourself of building different items, and then we're going to make this into a marketplace so that there'll be some items for free, but then at the same time you can actually go and get certain items, and you know, I think I did actually. Hold on a sec. Yeah, cool. But yeah, and the GitHub is a complete version of the program. So you can actually build your buildings and everything else self-contained within yourself. We do some things where if you want the multiplayer, then we're going to have that set up very soon where you can turn on multiplayer just with the click of a button in a plugin. But we're doing, if you picture like WordPress, where they have, WordPress allows you to have plugins and then it adds functionality to a website. We're doing the same thing with games. So we create 3D plugins that when you download them and put them into your scene on your server, now you have functionality added to your server. So we have a multiplayer plugin that allows you to have multiplayers and chat. Then we have the 3D shopping plugin, which lets you do all the stores. So we have a number of things that are going to make these all come together. But we're just getting started with the plugins. We'll be creating a plugin market here shortly. But as you can see, it's a work in progress, and we're getting there. We're getting there. We're able to do quite a few things already. This one, by the way, was downloaded, and I adapted it for here. I made some of the stairways a little wide. I mean, the ramp a little wider. I also made the door open so you can walk inside and out of it. I made the windows tinted. You know, made sure that it worked in Babylon and stuff. So there's a number of stuff. There's a number of things that I did to it to modify it for here, but it was a free download. This one was also a free download, and it's little segments of docs, so I kind of assembled one so that you can use it all as a whole. And then 3D things. I'm constantly building things, whatever I think of that I need. So there's a blank one that you can click on to start with. Once you get the blank one, then you can put your own molds in it and you create your own items. But see what this does by doing a 3D thing is you take your original item, your mold, but you wrap it with these layers of how it loads up and when it loads and everything else by putting all these other pieces in it. So all I'm doing is it's like a wrapper for it. It helps you get the whole pieces in there. So let me go back to here. Like 3D things, I have a number of things. I built some, different tables. I built this little cart. That one I downloaded and then kind of lowered the mesh count, or lowered the polygon count a little bit and put that in there. I've created these. These were display cases I created. I did a number of configurations with them. That was a download. So it's kind of a mixed match. This one I created yesterday. just playing around. I wanted a little coffee table, so I threw that in there together. And when you create something, not only can you create it, but you also, let me pick something here. Okay, whatever it is. So you create an item, or you get it all prepared and everything else, and so you can take a second for it to load. Okay, so let's say, for example, this street lamp. Okay, we have options and settings which let you do, you can do a copy of it for your own use. You can also set a starting position for where your guy is in relation to it when you load it, so you can be facing it or whatever. You can do snapshots of it, which end up being your browsing image for your preview. But you also have the starting information where you can name it, what you want to call it. The other thing is you can share the item, which puts it out and available on the shared items that others can download. So this is where you build up your reputation. But you do things like you name it, you put in a little, description, and then you can also put in some different tags, comma-separated tags, to help it search for it. So if somebody calls it a street candle instead of a street lamp, it still shows up. You can do some different random words that'll help the search engine. And then you can also click Set Default Snapshot, which if you don't want the avatar in there, you can click on this. And now you can take a picture of it without, you can move around with your mouse, get it to the right position where you want it, centered or whatever, or upward angle. And then you can click Set Default Snapshot. It automatically snapshot the background and puts in the new picture. And when you click Share 3D Item as template, now it shows up and other people can see it in the thing. Okay, it's possible to put rigged monsters into the game as NPCs. Yes, it is. It is, and I've done a little bit of work with stuff like that already. Whatever we need, we'll add to it. But just to show you this, I played around with a little bit of this stuff. One of the things I did, I think I want to say it's Demo Beach. Because you can do Autobots, you can do all kinds of stuff. Now this ground in this one is actually not, it's not set for a very good mesh count yet, or faces, and so it kind of slows it down a little bit when we open this up and everything. But one of the things that's in here, I got two things to show you, a couple things to show you actually. One of them is, actually I've got one right here. When you're walking this direction and you come up on this arcade, it's loading. Some of the stuff takes a little longer. See, I actually put in an avatar with an animation already running, and it looks like he's playing the game. So, and then I've got my little Webby store, which is a store that I created. Notice even the awning has animation. So we're able to do animations and play them when you walk in the doors. This one, I haven't finished this character, but I have something like this character behind the counter working. I also have my Webby character, which is my mascot. I'm working on making a higher definition version of him with lower poly count. But he's got a little bit of stuff. He dances around a little bit. Yeah, those are out of place because I just remodeled all those. This is an older scene that I was just demoing and playing around with. But see, I can add animations. Oh yeah, I think there's even a ceiling fan in there that spins. Yeah, if I would have looked up. Yeah, there's a ceiling fan, spins and everything else. So we can do full-on animation. Another thing we can do is, this is cool, we can actually play videos. Hello, there it is. Okay, so I can push play on here, and there's a video going, and I can even walk around while the video is playing. So we can do videos while we're doing it. Now I'm working on being able to stream right into a 3D scene. I'm working on that. Not there yet, but I'm going to get it. I'm going to figure it out. I had to create my own streaming server to make it work right, but it's no problem. I'm going to do it. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. We've got the full-on working videos, and you can walk around while they're going on. It's completely, there's a lot of really cool stuff we have. The other thing is we can do things like over here, we can do sprites, and we can do all kinds of stuff. So like here, I have a working fountain. So you can actually have water fountains that work. I also, let's see, what else? Oh, here's a couple more of just animated characters. When you walk over here, Some of this doesn't load as fast as I want it to yet, but I'm working on it. Let's see, do I have them in this scene? I think I put them in here. Okay, there's one person there. It's loading. Okay, there it is. Some of these characters I didn't maximize yet. I didn't minimize the file sizes or anything like that yet. But this little guitar player, he plays while you're there. Oh, it is 3D sound, so if you're in stereo and as you rotate, you'll hear it more in one ear over the other. You'll hear it go softer as you walk farther away, so the sound works at different distances. So that's some cool stuff we have. And I think I even have more things over here by the beach. Yeah, the lifeguard tower. And I think I got some more. I put out the whole pier out here. So we've got a pier. There's some more people. I threw these in just as avatars. They're actually Autobots. So they're just standing around talking in a scene. So not only do we have multiplayer, but we also have where you can have automated people that just sit in the scene and look like they're talking or whatever. So we can do all kinds of fun stuff. It is a gaming engine, and it can do we can do whatever size graphics we want. We just have to take into account how fast they download and everything. But I've done some things with 4K graphics, and they'll work. A lot of things I'll do like 1 to 2K. The reason is because at a distance, you're only using a small portion of your screen anyway, so your graphics on the screen are actually really high quality. I'm running this in, 1280 by 1024 right now, and, we're getting some really good graphics all the way close up and as you run around these people and everything. So it's definitely, we're definitely able to get some good high quality graphics going. We're working on making the arcade where we can play video games right inside the arcade, walk up to a two-dimensional game and play it. I've set up this pier so that this lifeguard tower doesn't show up until you're walking up on it. And see, now we've got the lifeguard tower. And you can actually walk up there and everything. Cool. Okay. Whoa, very nice. Very, very nice. I like it. I like it. Very cool. Wow. Oh, I love the scene stuff you did too. Dang, you're great with the glass. The one thing I've really got to work on. Okay, so I have the water in these scenes. It's a glided water. It's got a little ripple. It's got the scenes and stuff. One of the things I really want to work on is some fluid things, like to be able to make a waterfall and look right and everything else. Man, I'm really looking forward to being able to do that. But I haven't figured it out yet, or even, it's one thing to do it in Blender. It's another then to see if it works in Babylon, but I believe it does. Because it's all just an animation thing anyway, so, and the sprites all work and the different stuff, so, but oh, that is very awesome. Oh, the martini glass, perfect. Wow, I love the creations. You do some really cool artwork, man, you're good. Flip Fluids, but it's a paid add-on, haven't used it before. Okay. Yeah, see, I want to find out about some things like that, because I'd really like to add the ability to throw in some waterfalls or even a river through some scenes and stuff. As I get going, that's some of the stuff that I want to really check out and see if we can't make it work. But yeah, no, I really like these creations. And your lighting in these things is really awesome. I love the cotton candy movement, the screensaver. That is cool. Oh, I see the rotating objects within the platform. Very nice, very nice. No, I like it. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, man, you're awesome. Well, yeah, so the whole idea is that we're creating all these different things. Well, we're going to be able to... Here's the deal. Okay, I'm going to be releasing something very soon where somebody can actually create a 3D building, a 3D shopping experience in less than 5 minutes. Okay? And how I'm going to do that is they're going to pick their scene, they're going to pick a building, and then they're going to tie it to their WooCommerce with a couple settings in WordPress as a plugin, which I already have, but it's outdated. I got to do all this latest stuff in there, so it'll be out within the next month. And then what's going to happen is they're going to have a 3D store up and running with the shopping experience, with their products on the shelf in less than 5 minutes. I've done it before, and I know I can do it again with this high-end graphics and multiplayer now. Then what they're going to be able to do is I want to set up a network of people that create things in Blender, for example, where these people can contact them and say, okay, that was awesome, but I want a building that looks like my real building. Or I want a building that looks like this, and they give you some pictures or something. And you guys can make money off of creating the custom buildings for them. Because what I'd like to see is just people creating some really awesome scenes, really awesome, demos of what WalkTheWeb can do, by you making money off creating Blender objects and 3D things to put in the scenes or 3D scenery itself. Everything you create can all be part of this universe, basically, and it'll be a way that the more stuff you create, the more your name gets out there. We'll help you because we can actually create a screen that when somebody's looking for something, they can find you, and they can also see a resume of different buildings and different things you've contributed to see how well you are and how good of a reputation you have. So that's some really cool stuff we're going to be doing to help developers and programmers and artists like yourself make a lot of money. And I'm not even going to be in between that deal. When you make something and you work on a deal with a business that wants a 3D store, that's going to be your business. You make the money off of that. I'll be helping you make those connections, like brokering the deal kind of thing, help you find new jobs and stuff. And, we'll work on something. I'll figure out what the, way that I'll get a little kickback, but it'll be more like a finder's fee, and you'll get new jobs every time, from different people wanting things, because they'll come to me serious already wanting to do it. So, okay, but that's all down the road. But in the meantime, you're going to be able to build different buildings and create different things. We're throwing in a bunch of, we're going to make like the skee ball. We're going to make this actually work in here so that you can come up to it and just start playing it. We want the interaction of games with all the different stuff for the 3D stores. I'm hoping I'll be able to get a job making labels for my dad's custom beer. Awesome. 3 of those renders I sent are actually for beer labels. Awesome. That is very cool. Very cool. Man, congrats on that, and man, I hope he does really well with it. Bach, I can tell. That's got to be one. But I like that. Yeah, definitely. That's cool. Yeah, congrats on that. Very cool. So with doing all this stuff, what we're really doing is we're just creating an environment where developers can create things, people can buy things, and we'll sell services along the way. So you set up a scene, and you don't want to run, you're not going to want to run your own multiplayer server to sync up all the users that come to visit. So you'll do that through us. You'll just click on one button, pay a yearly fee, and you got multiplayer turned on. So we're going to do some things like that. Something, you're great at it, and with this stuff that we're doing, hey, tie on in with us. And also, I tell you what, we'll probably be hiring some people to do some freelance stuff after we get some funding. We're working on with these demos and stuff I'm doing right now. We've got some people looking at us to help us fund our business. And when that comes through, there's a good chance that I'll be hiring some people. I'll also be, and you'll work remote, so don't worry about location or anything like that. But at the same time, we'll do some piecework, we'll do some freelance, we'll do all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, you're definitely one that I'd talk to about that when it comes up. Won't be too much longer. But yeah, if you love to work with Blender and you love to create things, boy, you're right down that alley with me. I love doing it. I'm having fun doing it. And I just keep on trying to make, different things and drop them into scenes, make them as efficient as possible for the gaming environment, yet as detailed as I can possibly do. And yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I love doing. So very cool. Very, very cool. So yeah, but something, it's really, really nice meeting you, and I appreciate you following me. I'll be back on. I'll be doing some more. I'm stepping through some stuff with this. Good luck on your class tonight. That's very cool. Cell shading. Oh, okay. Really cool method of shading that's commonly used in comic book games. Oh, I want to do grease pencil too. I really want to do grease pencil. I haven't done it yet, but I love comics. I'm a Bugs Bunny fan for life. I mean, come on. I want to do some more cartooning. I played around just really, really, really rudimentary, but I want to get into some cartooning and stuff as I go more and more. I did a little bit of the animation here with some of this stuff, and I keep on working on it. I keep on just perfecting it and learning more as I go. But cell shading, that's cool. That's very cool. Oh, sure. Okay, yeah, I'll meet you over there in Discord. Give me about a 5 or 10 minute break and I'll meet you there. But thank you for joining me, and thank you everyone else for tuning in and checking it out throughout the time today. And thanks for the followers and subscribers. We always appreciate that. But have a great day, and I'll meet you in Discord. So if you don't see me here, find me in Discord. Have a good one. Bye.